Next up, we had the start of the Nations, or the so-called Nations Championship. For what it's worth, I don't think this tournament will last for many years to come. And the reason for that is that at the end of it, probably the Northern Hemisphere teams will probably look at it and feel that they would rather be in charge of their own schedules each year and not play the Southern Hemisphere teams as often, and also not all of them in one year. However, having said that, we had a great start to this so-called tournament with New Zealand beating France 34-32. Which was a really good match. It was an entertaining match to watch, some good attacking rugby, although I do feel that both teams lacked in terms of their defense, and specifically their defensive structure, which was surprising given the shape of the French clubs at the moment that are really, really good. We had Japan beat Italy 2017, and that is probably, along with another match, the biggest upset of this first round, that we had Japan beating Italy comprehensively, and which would probably beg the question: is there a spot for Japan in a Six Nations tournament? Or maybe for the Six Nations tournament to look at some promotion relegation in terms of that, because if Japan is beating Italy, then maybe they need to be there. The third match, we saw a really, really tough match against between Australia and Ireland, which Ireland pipped at the end 33-31. That was a really good match. Then fourth, we had Fiji losing against Wales 39-24, and I think Wales will feel happy about that, since their previous match against the Barbarians wasn't convincing at all. And then fifthly, we had South Africa walloping the English side 45-21. I expected much more from the English side, and I'm sure so did all of the English supporters. I hope for English rugby's sake, they will improve going forward in this tournament. And lastly, we had probably the upset, in my view, of the first round: Scotland beating Argentina 47-38 in Argentina, and that takes some doing. Scotland coming up against South Africa next week, so that'll really be a tough challenge for them, but more about that a little bit later. But I think Argentina will be looking back at this match and ask themselves how they got themselves in that position of losing against a Scottish side, which at times are brilliant and at times are below average. I just can't seem to sort of nail down whether Scotland is really good or just lucky during some matches. Nevertheless, it was a great win for Scotland over Argentina in Argentina. Then the next round, this coming weekend for the Nations Championship, we've got New Zealand versus Italy. That's the first match coming next Saturday, which should be sort of one-way traffic for New Zealand. We've got Australia, France, which will be probably the most interesting match to watch. I'm sure France will want to bounce back against Australia and get a win under the belt. Japan versus Ireland. If Japan arrives and plays the kind of rugby that they played this past weekend, that's going to be an interesting match, although Ireland should take this match by at least 10 points. Fiji versus England is an interesting one, because that's going to be played back in England, which I don't quite understand. Nevertheless, so England traveling back to England before they come back to play Argentina. And then we've got South Africa playing Scotland in Pretoria. I believe that's going to be quite a one-sided affair. I hope that Scotland arrives with some ammunition to counter South Africa. although I seriously doubt that. And then lastly, we will have Argentina versus Wales, and Wales definitely would want to build on the win from the previous weekend, but Argentina would definitely want to strike back after their loss against Scotland. So a great weekend of international rugby still lying ahead. And as I said, especially the Australia-France match, I think that's going to be one for the books. And most probably South Africa v Scotland will be another great match to watch.